everyone, it's Jade here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome if you are new. In today's video we're going to be completing this page here, so we're going to be doing the inside of this windmill. So I did the background in a separate video and I asked you guys if you wanted me to do a colour along for the inside part, and a couple of my subscribers said yes, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to be using the Arteza pencils, so the 120 set, and I'll go ahead and zoom you in and we'll make a start. Okay, so first, taking Peony Pink, I'm going to make a start on this part of the windmill here, and what I want to do is make this pink. So I'm going to use this pencil and just light pressure, and I'm going to fill in the whole of this section. So this is going to be our base colour, and then I'm going to go in and add some shadows on top of this. Next, going in with Plum Purple. This is quite a dark pink colour. I'm going to make a start on filling in some of these sections here because I want this to be darker. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill these in, and I'm going to take this probably to about 3/4 of the way up, and then I'm going to start to lighten the colour as we get towards the top. So I'm going to go ahead and use normal pressure and fill in some of these little sections. Then taking Fruit Punch, I'm going to fill in the next 4 squares up with this colour, and again I'm just going to use normal pressure. Then going back in with Peony Pink, I'm going to fill in the last 4 squares just using normal pressure. Then taking Flamingo Pink, I'm going to go ahead and darken up the outside piece around the squares that we've just done. So I'm just going to use normal pressure with this colour and go ahead and fill in this properly, so it's a nice pinky colour. Okay guys, so that's one of our windmills completed. So we're going to move on to this side now. So going in with royal purple, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the 4 bottom squares in the royal purple so that it's the darkest at the bottom, the same as we did for the pink but in purple this time. So I'll just use normal pressure, go ahead and fill in these squares. Next, taking violet, I'm going to fill in the next 4 squares along. And again, I'm just going to use normal pressure for this. Then taking lilac, I'm going to do the next squares. Then taking UBE purple, I'm going to fill in the background of this piece. So again, I'll just use normal pressure and fill this all in. Okay, so that's our first 2 done, and I think that these pink ones aren't quite dark enough. So I'm going to try going over them with eggplant purple and just see if this will darken up these little sections a little bit more. Okay, yeah, that's definitely darker. So I'm just going to go ahead and go over these sections and just use normal pressure again, just to darken these bottom ones up a little bit more. Next, going in with periwinkle blue, I'm going to make a start on this little cloud up here. So I'm going to start to add this colour to this side. So I'm just going to use normal pressure over here. And then as I come towards the centre, I'm just going to start to lift the pressure off so that we can blend it into a different colour a little bit easier. Then taking Robin Egg Blue, I'm going to use this to fill in this side of our cloud. So again, I'll just use normal pressure over here. And then lift the pressure off as you go over the periwinkle, just to blend that together nicely. And then going back in with periwinkle, I'm just going to use this to go over the blend using normal pressure and make sure it's blended nicely. Next, I'm going to go in with Silver 701. So this is one of the metallic shades. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in this little weather, what are they called? Weather vanes? I'm not sure, you'll have to let me know in the comments. And we'll fill in under here as well. And I'm also going to use this to fill in this sort of metal detail here. Then taking lemon yellow, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this section here because I want to make this look like a rainbow in here. So I'm just going to use normal pressure, fill this in. And then using sunflower yellow, I'm going to add some shadow to the top section here. So just normal pressure up here, darken that up. And then I'm just going to lift the pressure off as it comes down so that it gets lighter at the bottom. And then I'll go back in with lemon yellow and just add a bit more of that to the bottom section. Then taking pumpkin orange, I'm going to do a light base coat in here. So just light pressure. And then using blood orange, I'm going to add some shadow at the top. So normal pressure right at the top. And then lift off as you come down. And then back in with pumpkin orange. Go ahead and blend that out. And fill in the bottom piece. So next we'll take peony pink and do a base coat in this one. And then plum purple. Darken up the top section and lift off as you come towards this little line here, and then back in with peony to fill in the bottom. Then we'll do periwinkle blue, light base coat, and sapphire blue to add a shadow at the top. And again, lift the pressure off as you come down. Back in with periwinkle. And fill that in. Then we'll do lime green. And shade with apple green. So again, normal pressure at the top. And then lift off the pressure as you come down. And back in with lime green, normal pressure, blend that all together. Then taking lavender, do a base coat in this one. And then royal purple, darken up the top. And lift off as you come down. Then back in with lavender. Then taking stone grey, I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on our stones here. So I'm just going to use light pressure and fill this in. Then taking shadow grey, I'm going to use this to darken up all these little gaps in between the bricks. So like here we've got a little gap in between these little bricks. I'm just going to fill that in and just darken up these little sections. Then going in with elephant grey, I'm going to start to add some shade to our little bricks here. So I'm just adding some to this side, just using normal pressure, and then just lift off as you come over towards the middle. This one will darken up on this side, and again lift off in the middle. This one will darken up underneath the window and lift off as you come down. Same here, we'll darken up under the window all the way along and lift off as you come down. This one I'm going to darken up completely, and this side lift off in the middle. Okay, this one will add some over here and lift off in the middle. Add some up here. So we'll do more pressure at the top, lift off as you come down. And this one will darken up here from the window too, and then lift off as you come over. Add a little bit under here. Okay, so moving on to these balloons, I'm going to do these bright colours as well. So I'm going to go in with lemon yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. And I'm just using light pressure to start with. Then taking sunflower yellow, I'm going to add some shade to this. So I'm going to start by darkening up this side of the balloon, so the left hand side. And then I'm going to start to lift the pressure off here and go back in with lemon yellow and use normal pressure just to fill in this other edge here and take it over the blend. So we'll do the next one orange to match. So I'll go back in with pumpkin orange and do a light base coat on this one. And then using blood orange, I'll add some shade in. Again, we'll focus the shadow on this side. So just normal pressure, run this around the edge. And then start to lift the pressure off as you come towards the middle. Back in with pumpkin orange, normal pressure. Then taking peony pink, I'm going to do a base coat on this one. And using plum purple, add the shadow in. Back in with peony pink. Then taking periwinkle blue, do a base coat on this one. Sapphire blue to add the shadow into the left hand side. So again, normal pressure against the edge and then lift off as you come towards the middle. Back in with periwinkle blue. Then back in with lime green, do this little one. And then using apple green, add a bit of a shadow in there. Back in with lime green to blend it together. Then take in lilac, do a light base coat on this one. Royal purple, add in a shadow. And then back in with lilac. Next, taking shadow grey, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the inside piece of the building so that that's darker than the rest of the brickwork. So I'll just use normal pressure and fill this in. Then going back in with lemon yellow, just going to fill in one of these balloons, just using normal pressure. Then we'll use pumpkin orange to fill in this balloon. Then take in periwinkle blue. I'm going to go ahead and fill in the glass on this little window. And again, I'm just going to use normal pressure, fill this in. And then I'm going to use apple green to fill in the window frame itself, just to add a bit of colour to the window frame. So I'm going to just use normal pressure again and fill this in. Next, going in with stone grey, I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on this section here because I want it to sort of match the stonework that we've got at the top. So I'm just going to use light pressure and add a base coat in. Then take in elephant grey. I'm going to add some shade to these edges here. So I'm just going to use normal pressure under there and some normal pressure over here. And then I'm just going to lift off the pressure as you come towards the middle, just so we're left with a lighter patch in the middle. Then going back in with shadow grey, which is our dark colour that we use to fill in these little details here. I'm going to use this to sort of round off these little squares to make them look a little bit more like bricks. So just sort of add a little bit in onto the corners to just round it off slightly. So we'll do the same for each of these squares and just take a little bit off around the edges. Then going back in with elephant grey, I'm just going to add a little bit of a shadow to some of these. So I think I'll just use light pressure and just randomly add a little bit of this colour into some of these bricks, so they're not all the same colour. Okay, and I'm not sure what colours I want to do this bit yet, so I'm going to move on to this windmill section here, and I know that I want this one to be green. So the first colour that I'm going to go in with is emerald green, which is going to be our darkest shade. So I'm going to go ahead and use normal pressure and fill in the first 4 rows of these squares. Then take in parakeet green. I'm going to do the same for the next 4 squares. Then taking mint green, I'm going to fill in the last 5 squares. Then taking lime green, I'm going to use normal pressure and fill in the outside edge. Then taking sea blue, I'm going to make a start on this section here. So I'm going to do the first 4 squares again with this colour, just using normal pressure. So again, this is going to be our darkest colours, these first 4. Then taking Mykonos blue, I'm going to do the next 4 squares. Then taking sky blue, I'm going to fill in the remaining squares. Then taking periwinkle blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the outside edge. So again, I'll just use normal pressure for this part. Okay, next going back in with Peony Pink, we're going to make a start on the balloons in here. So I know that I want some of these to be pink, so I'm going to go ahead and just use light pressure and add a base coat to the balloon. And we'll do this one in pink too. And this one here we'll put in pink. So again, just using light pressure to do the base coat. And we'll do this one up here in pink as well. So I'll just do a nice base coat on that one. And we'll do this one over here, pink. And we'll do this one in here, pink. I think that'll be enough for that side. So going back in with Plum Purple, I'm going to add the shadow into our balloons. And for this one, I'm going to focus the shadow on the left-hand side. So I'll just use normal pressure on this edge. And then darken that up. And then I'm going to start to lift the pressure off as you come over towards the middle of the balloon. For this one, we'll darken up under here and down the left hand side. And then again, I'm just going to start to lift the pressure off as you come towards the middle. This one will add some shade to the left hand side. So same again, normal pressure. And then start to lift off as you come over. And we'll add a little bit of a shadow to the left hand side of this one. Okay, this one I'm going to shade under here because the balloon in front would cast a bit of a shadow down. So again, just normal pressure and then lift off as you come towards the center. And this one will add some shadow along here from the balloon in front and along this edge. And then again, just lift the pressure off as you come up. Then I'm going to go back in with Peony Pink and just use normal pressure to blend this all together. Okay, so Peony Pink was a little bit too dark, so I'm going to go in with Pink Macaroon, which is lighter, and go ahead and use this to blend these two colours together, so it should stay lighter in the right hand side. So I'm just going to use normal pressure, take it over the darker and the lighter pink. Okay, that's better. So I'll go ahead and do the same for the rest of these pink balloons. Okay, so next going back in with Periwinkle Blue, we're going to do some of these balloons blue. So I'm just going to go in with light pressure at first and do a base coat on the ones that I want to be blue. So we'll do that one. We'll do this one here, blue. And we'll do this one up here, blue. And then this side, we'll do this one blue. And we'll do this one blue as well. So going back in with sapphire blue, we're going to add some shade to these balloons. So this one I'm going to shade here where it's against the pink and down the left hand side. So again, just normal pressure along that edge. And then start to lift the pressure off as you come towards the middle of the balloon. This one will shade along the edges where it's behind the balloons. And then again, just lift the pressure off as you come towards the edge. This one will darken up on these edges and along the bottom. And then again, start to lift the pressure off towards the middle. This one will go ahead and darken up the left hand side. And then this top one I'm going to add a shadow from the windmill. And then again, lift off the pressure as you come over. Then back in with periwinkle. I'm going to use normal pressure and blend this together and fill in the balloons properly. Then going in with lime green, we're going to add some green balloons in. So again, I'm just going to use light pressure and go ahead and add some colour into this one here. Then taking apple green, I'm going to add some shade to the bottom edges of this one down here. And again, lift off the pressure as you come up. Do the same for this one. And this one. This one will darken up on this side. And we'll darken up the bottom of this one. Then back in with lime green to fill it in and blend it together. So normal pressure this time. Then taking lilac, we're going to add some purple balloons in. So again, I'm just going to do a light base coat on this one here. Then taking royal purple, we'll add some shade in. So again, I'm going to shade the bottom of this one. Darken this up and then just start to lift the pressure as you come up, same as we did for the green ones. And we'll do the same for this one. this one will darken up under the pink and down the left hand side and the top of the blue section. This one will add a little bit to the bottom. And under here and down the left hand side for this one. Then back in with lilac to blend it all out and mix it all together nicely. So again, just normal pressure for this part, fill them in properly. Then going back in with lemon yellow, I'm going to do some of these yellow. So I think we'll do this one here. So I'll just do a light base coat. And this one here. And we'll do one over here. Then take in sunflower yellow. I'll add some shade to these ones. So for this one, I'm going to sort of darken it up here where it's pushed back underneath this balloon. So right up against this edge as well. And then I'll start to lift the pressure off towards the edge of the balloon. So we've just got the lighter colour at the very edge. This one will darken up around the purple balloon. And this one will just darken up on these side edges, and again just lift off as you come towards the edge of the balloon. Then going back in with lemon yellow, going to use normal pressure and blend that together. Then lastly, I'll go back in with pumpkin orange and just do the ones that we've got left in orange. Then take in blood orange, we're going to add some shade. So this one's quite on top, so I'm just going to darken up the left hand side just to give it a little bit of a shadow. This one I'll darken up along this edge and then lift off as you come over. And this side will darken up on the left hand side and the bottom, and then again just lift off as you come out of the balloon. Then I'm going to go back in with pumpkin orange and fill these in properly. Okay, next going back in with stone grey. I'm going to do a base coat on the stones around the edges. So I'll just use light pressure and just add this colour all over these stones. Then taking elephant grey, I'm going to add some shadow in. So this one I'm going to darken up completely because it would be in shadow from the windmill. And we'll add a little bit of a shadow onto this edge here. So I'm just using light pressure to add this in. This one will give a little bit of shadow here. And then we'll do this side on this one. Add a little bit here, just so that they're not all the same colour. onto this side. And we'll do the same pattern for this one here too. And then this one will darken up over here. Add some down here. And along the bottom edge of this one. And this one we'll do over here. This big one we'll add some in the middle. Do a bit on that side. And some on this side. Do some at the bottom of this one. And the top of that one. And then we'll do this side and this side. And we'll do a bit in the middle. A bit on this edge here. This one I'm going to darken up along this side and underneath there. Do a bit there and a bit here. This one will darken up along this edge here. And that one will fill in, and we'll fill in this side there because that would be in shadow. This one will fill in again because that would be in shadow. And then we'll add a little bit of a shadow all along the top here. Do the same for all of these top ones. Add a shadow in. And we'll darken up that piece there too because that would be underneath. Okay guys, next we're going to move on to these baskets here with the little balloons in that haven't been blown up yet. So I'm going to do them the same colours as these balloons. So I'm going to go in with peony pink first and just randomly colour some of these in pink. And I'll just use normal pressure for this as well because they're so small. Next I'm going to go back in with pumpkin orange and do the same, fill in some random ones in orange. Then lemon yellow. Then lilac. Then lime green. And then lastly, periwinkle blue. Then take in watermelon pink. I'm going to go ahead and do a base coat on this ribbon down here. So I'm just going to use light pressure and fill this in. Then going back in with plum purple, I'm going to go ahead and darken up this line here, which is behind, so would be darker. I think we'll fill that piece in completely so it's a lot darker. And we'll add a bit of a shadow here. And then just lift off the pressure as you come up. Then going back in with watermelon pink, I'm going to use normal pressure and fill it in properly. And I'm just going to take it over this little piece here. Then taking raw sienna, I'm going to go ahead and make this top and bottom piece will look wooden. So I'm just going to use light pressure at first and fill these in. Then I'm going to go in with burnt umber and add some shade. So for this bottom piece, I'm just going to darken up the very bottom edge where it's near to the rock. and I've just used light pressure for that. And then I'll go ahead and use light pressure, add a little bit of colour either side here. Then going in with our white pencil, I'm just going to blend that out. Okay, so I think we'll do this box like a wooden one as well. So I'm going to go back in with raw sienna and do a base coat on this box. So just light pressure, fill this in. Then going back in with burnt umber, I'm going to add some shade to this. So I'm going to add a bit of a shadow here under the handle. Just use normal pressure and then lift the pressure off as you come down. It will darken up the corners, so normal pressure in the corners and then lift off as you come out. And we'll do the same for this corner and this one. Then I'm going to go back in with raw sienna and just go over where we've added our shadow. So I'm just using normal pressure going over the shadows. And then I'm just going to use light pressure and add a little bit more colour to the box. And then go back in with your white pencil just to blend out where we've left the lightest colour. Okay, and then I think we should do this box blue. So I'm going to go in with sapphire blue as our lightest colour. So I'm going to use light pressure and do a base coat on this box. Then taking Egyptian blue, I'm going to add some shadow. So for the lid, I'm going to darken up the edges. So normal pressure on there. And then start to lift the pressure as you come across to the middle. Do the same on this side. I'm going to darken up this underneath little rim here. And just underneath as well, just lift the pressure off a little bit so you just get a little bit of a shadow here. And then I'll just add a bit of a shadow by the floor. So normal pressure and then lift off as you come up. Then going back in with sapphire blue, I'm going to blend this all together. See how it looks. Okay, and that's quite similar. So here I'm just going to add a little bit more colour. So just light pressure, add a little bit more colour. And then we'll go back in with our white pencil and use this to blend it together. I'll just add some white to the middle here just to try and lighten that ever so slightly. Then taking lilac, I'm going to use this to fill in this outside edge of the label. And I'll just use normal pressure. And then using apricot, I'm just going to do light pressure inside for the label itself. Then taking purple iris, I'm going to go ahead and do a light base coat on this box back here. And then using violet, I'm going to add some shadow in. So I'm going to darken up around here where it would be pushed further back. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and darken that up. And along the top edge. And then I'm just going to lift the pressure off as you come over. Then back in with purple iris. I'm going to take that over the blend. And then just light pressure again, add a little bit more colour down. And then back in with our white pencil just to blend this together. Make sure you've took the blue off of the white pencil. Next, take in steel grey. I'm going to make a start on this here. So I'm going to use this as like a light base coat. So I want this to be sort of silvery looking. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in this pipework here and this top piece. And these bottom bits. I'm just using light pressure, sorry for this, just to get a bit of a colour down. Then we'll go back in with elephant grey and add some shadow. So I'm going to add a bit of a shadow under here. So normal pressure under there, and then lift off the pressure as you come down. Going to darken up along this bottom line here, and then lift off as you come up. We'll do the sides on this piece, and lift off as you come towards the middle. And we'll do the same for these two pieces here. Go ahead and darken these ones up, and we'll add a shadow here, lift off as you come down. Then going in with fog grey, I'm just going to use normal pressure and go over this just so that it stays nice and light, but then we still get to blend our colours together. Then taking lemon yellow, I'm going to do a base coat on this part because I want this part to be bright yellow. So again, I'll just use light pressure and do a base coat. Then going back in with sunflower yellow, I'm going to add some shade in. So I'm going to start with this top one, and I'm going to add a shadow right underneath this metal bar. So I'm just going to use normal pressure, run that along there, and then I'm just going to lift the pressure off to blend it down. This one will darken up the central line using normal pressure, and then we'll lift the pressure off as we come up and also down. Do the same for this one. And this one. And then we'll add a darker line in the middle on the top half. Blend that out, and then we'll add a shadow line at the bottom here, and again lift the pressure off to blend it out. Then going back in with lemon yellow, I'm going to use normal pressure this time and just mix everything together nicely. I'm going to fill in the clock as well, so that's a nice bright yellow. And whilst we've got the yellow out, I'm going to fill in these stars. Then going back in with raw sienna, I'm going to make this door frame wooden. So I'm going to use this as our base coat and go ahead and do light pressure all over the frame. Then taking burnt umber, I'm going to add in some shadow. So I'm going to darken up down here. So I'm going to use normal pressure at the bottom and then lift off as you come up. Do the same for this side. So normal pressure down here and then lift off as you come up. We'll add some shadow here from the top. So again, normal pressure and then lift off. Do the same over here. And then we'll darken up the top edges. And then again, lift off the pressure as you come towards the middle. Then I'm going to go back in with raw sienna and just go over the blend using normal pressure and then lift off again as you come a bit further up. So normal pressure over the blend and then lighter pressure just after. Do the same for everywhere we just added the shade. Then back in with our white pencil just to blend the very central piece. Okay, next going in with deep teal, I'm going to make a star on the background in here. So I thought we could do this like a turquoisey colour. So what I want to do is use this colour around the edges because this is going to be the darkest shade. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and start to run this all the way around these edge lines here so that we can start to darken up the edges. Okay, so I want to bring this colour a little bit further into the picture. So I think we'll do all the edges darker and then just the lighter colour in the centre. So I'm going to fill in this back piece here using the darker colour. So again, I'll just use normal pressure and fill in all around this back edge. And then down here, I'll use normal pressure right at the bottom. And then I'll just start to lift the pressure off so that we can blend it into the lighter colour. This piece in here in between the balloons, I'm going to darken up. So normal pressure, fill this in. And then here where it starts to come out, I'm going to lift the pressure off so that we can blend it into the lighter colour again. Okay, so up here we'll add some of this dark colour under there and under that balloon. And then we'll lift the pressure off here so we can mix it into the lighter colour. Darken up this top piece. And then again, lift the pressure off. So we'll do the same along here, darken up this top edge. And then again, just lift the pressure off as you come down. This top corner will fill in completely. Okay, so back down to this side, and again I'm going to darken up down here. So I'm going to use normal pressure along the edge of this box. And then I'm just going to start to lift the pressure off here where it comes to the tip of the box. So we'll do the same here, normal pressure, darken this little section up. And then again, lift the pressure as you come out. Then along here, we'll do all darker, so normal pressure, and fill this in along here. And we'll darken up this edge as well. And then again, we'll start to lift the pressure as we come over here. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with Shamrock Green, which is a lighter colour, and I'm going to start bringing this into the centre. So what I'm going to do is use normal pressure. I'm going to take it over our shadow colour that we've added in. Darken that up. And then just fill in the rest of this section. Okay, next we're going to move on to this inside part here. So I've chosen watermelon pink. I thought we'd do a nice pink background in this space up here. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill it in so it's all one colour. Then I'm going to use raw sienna, and I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill in the underneath part of these steps here. Then taking peony pink, I'm going to do a base coat on this wall section here. So I'm just going to use light pressure and fill this in. Then using plum purple, I'm going to add some shadow. So I'm going to start by darkening up right under this join here. So just use normal pressure along here. And then I'm going to lift the pressure off so we can blend it out. And then back in with peony, I'm going to use normal pressure, take this over the blend. And then again, I'm going to start to lift the pressure off as we come towards the bottom. Do the same up here. Then taking pink macaroon, I'm going to use normal pressure and fill in the very bottom sections. Then going in with a gold gel pen, I'm going to fill in the tops of the steps and this little sort of swirl around the edge. So going back in with watermelon pink, I'm going to use this to fill in these little curtains on these little windows down here. So they're quite small, so I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill these in. Then taking plum purple, I'm going to fill in the little tie backs. Then taking periwinkle blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little window panes. Then taking sapphire blue, I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow into these. So I'm just going to add a little bit at this bottom corner here. So just along the right hand side and the bottom, just to add a little bit of a shadow. Then I'm going to go back in with the gold gel pen and fill in the window frame. Then taking raw sienna, I'm going to make a start on this wooden base here. So I'm just going to do a light base coat on here first. and then back in with burnt umber to add some shade. So I think I'm going to darken up these pieces completely because they would be in shadow. And then we'll darken up the edges of this piece, so normal pressure here. And then I'm going to start to lift the pressure around here, so by the first window. Do the same on this side. And then again, lift the pressure off by the window. And we'll do the same down here. So darken up the bottom and lift off. And here. And we'll darken up this edge, so normal pressure, and then lift off the pressure. And the same over here. Add a bit of shadow under the windowsill, so I'm just going to do a line of normal pressure under there. And then I'm going to do some normal pressure all the way along this joining line up the top here. And then again, lift off the pressure just to blend that down. And then I'm going to add some normal pressure here and lift the pressure off as you come over. Do a little line up here and lift off to blend it out. Do one here. And we'll have some over here. Lift off to blend out. A little bit down here. And again, just lift off to blend that out, just so it's not all the same colour. Then going back in with raw sienna, I'm going to go over everywhere I've added the shade. And then again, lift off the pressure as you come towards the middle. Do the same over here. And then just light pressure, add a bit more colour there. And then we'll go over that with the white just to blend that out. Okay, back in with raw sienna, and I'm going to do the same. So anywhere where I've added the darker shade, just going to add this colour around it just to blend it a little bit easier. And I'm just using normal pressure for this. And then I'll just go back over with light pressure just to blend it out so we don't have any harsh lines. And then back in with the white just to blend it all out nicely. Then going back in with the gold gel pen, I'm going to fill in the windowsills. And we'll do the top of the light and the door frame. Okay, next we're going to move on to this section, and I'm going to do it wood so that it matches the bottom. So I'm going to go in with raw sienna first and go ahead and do a base coat on this. So just light pressure and add some colour down. Then going in with burnt umber, I'm going to add some shading. So I'm going to add a shadow underneath here. So just run normal pressure right up against this top edge, just to make it look like there's a shadow from this top piece. And then I'm going to lift the pressure off to blend the colour down. We'll add a shadow underneath here from this windmill, and then again just lift the pressure off as you come away. And we'll do one on this side. We'll do the same along here. And here. This piece I'm going to fill in, and then I'm just going to add some light pressure there just to cast a bit of a shadow from this side. And we'll do some light pressure here on these two bottom lines as well. And a little bit on this edge. And then we'll do some on these two lines here at the bottom. And then just lift off the pressure as you come over. And this edge here, and lift off as you come towards the middle. And here we'll darken up, and then lift off as you come towards the middle. And then I'm going to start to add some darker shade up here, because this is all the same colour, so I'm just going to use normal pressure and run that along that line. And then I'll just lift off the pressure around it to blend that out. We'll do a little bit here on this line, so normal pressure and then lift off to blend it out. Do some over here. And one here. Then I'm going to go back in with raw sienna, and I'm going to use normal pressure to take it over where we've just added all of our darker colour. And I'll just use normal pressure over the darker colour and then lift the pressure off when you come into the lighter colour. And I'm going to do this everywhere where I've just added this shadow. Okay, and then still using light pressure, I'm just going to go over the rest and add a little bit more colour over it. And then I'm going to go back in with my white pencil and use this where we've left the lightest colour, just to blend it all out nicely. So just normal pressure, take it over where we've just done the lightest pressure so it blends everything together. Then going back in with our gold gel pen, I'm going to use this to fill in this little joining circle up here. And the center dot. Then next, going in with peony pink, I'm going to do a little base coat on this door here so that we've got a nice pink door. Then taking plum purple, I'm going to add some shading. So I'm going to start by darkening up these edges on this bottom piece. So just normal pressure up against the edges. And then lift off as you come towards the middle. And then I'm going to add some shadow around the top edge. So just normal pressure up there. And then just lift off as you come down. Then back in with our white pencil. Just going to blend this together. Then taking periwinkle blue, I'm going to fill in the little light here. And back in with our gold gel pen to do the door handle. So next, going in with a white gel pen, I'm going to start to add some highlights to this piece. So I'm going to start by adding highlights onto these balloons here where we've got like the natural highlight that's been drawn in already. So where these little black lines are, I'm just going to go over that with this pen and just make a little white highlight on there. So I'll do the same for all of these balloons and just add a highlight to this top side. And then I'm just going to add a little tiny reflection into the window. And I'll do the same in here, add a little highlight to these balloons. And then for this bottom piece, I'm just going to put a little dot of highlight into the windows. And a little one on the light here. Okay everybody, this is how the page has turned out. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and like all the colourful choices that I picked. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and I'll see you guys in the next video.